Do hair serums really work, or are you just wasting your time and money? This is the most asked question, and people are genuinely confused because there's so much conflicting information out there. So today, we're clearing this confusion once and for all. But here's the thing, the answer is actually very tricky. Stay till the end because by then, you'll know exactly which serums work, which ones don't, and most importantly, which one is right for you. Welcome to my hair growth series. In this series, I'm answering every question you have about hair loss and regrowth, which products actually work, how to increase blood flow to your scalp, why your hair is falling, and much more. Before we dive in, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss any episode. And today, in episode 1, we're answering, do serums actually work? But first, the question behind the question, is hair regrowth even possible? In 90% of cases, yes, it's absolutely possible. The 10% where it's not is when your follicles have been completely dead for many years. But if you're dealing with conditions like hormonal hair loss, telogen effluvium, which is stress-induced shedding, or recent thinning, your follicles are not dead. They're just paused. And serums can help wake them up, but only if you understand which type to use and when. Okay, now before we talk about hair serums, here's something very important for you to know. Your scalp is skin. If you apply serum to your face every day to keep it healthy, prevent aging, and maintain that glow, then why are we not treating our scalp the same way? Your hair follicles are living in that skin. If the skin is neglected, inflamed, or clogged, your hair will struggle. So scalp serums aren't optional. They're essential. And when it comes to hair serums, you need to know that they perform these 3 functions. Number 1, extending the anagen phase, which is your hair's growth phase. Number 2, increasing blood flow, so more nutrients and oxygen reach your follicles. Number 3, DHT blocking to prevent follicle shrinkage. Every effective hair serum addresses at least one of these, and the best ones address all 3. Let me break down each one for you, starting with the most powerful one. The most powerful ingredient in hair serums is 5% minoxidil. Minoxidil does 2 things. Number 1, it extends the anagen phase. If your hair is thick at the roots but becomes like a tail at the bottom, or if you see a lot of frizzy breaking hair, it means your hair isn't staying in the anagen phase long enough. Your hair breaks instead of growing long and strong. Here, minoxidil helps by prolonging your hair's growth phase. It pushes your follicles back into the growth phase and keeps them there longer. This is why it's so effective for hair density and length. Number 2, increases blood flow. Minoxidil causes vasodilation. It opens your potassium channels and widens your blood vessels. This means more blood flows to your follicles, delivering nutrients, growth signals, and oxygen. Without adequate blood flow, even the healthiest follicle can't grow properly. But minoxidil also has side effects. Some people experience scalp irritation, unwanted facial hair growth, or increased shedding initially. And if you stop using it, shedding can resume because your follicles become dependent on that increased blood flow. So if you don't want to use minoxidil because of any of these side effects, there are also alternatives. You may use a combination serum with Capixil, Redensil, Procapil, and Anagain. These are peptide complexes that prolong the growth phase. And to increase blood flow, you can try microneedling, but only if your scalp is not already inflamed. If you have an inflamed or irritated scalp, microneedling will make things worse. Another option is low-level laser therapy caps. They also increase blood flow safely without the invasiveness. Now let's talk about the third critical function, DHT blocking. Let me first explain what DHT is and why blocking it matters so much. DHT stands for dihydrotestosterone. It's a hormone that your body naturally produces from testosterone. But the problem is, DHT attaches to receptors on your hair follicles. And when it does, it literally shrinks your follicles over time. To understand better, your follicle produces thick, healthy hair, and then DHT binds to it. The follicle gets smaller. Now it produces thinner hair. DHT keeps binding. The follicle gets even smaller. Now it produces very fine, wispy hair. Eventually, the follicle miniaturizes so much that it can't produce visible hair anymore. This is called follicle miniaturization. And this is the reason for pattern hair loss in both men and women. So DHT blocking means preventing DHT from binding to your follicle receptors and further shrinking of the follicles. And women need DHT blocking too, especially if you have high insulin levels. High insulin increases androgens, which means more testosterone gets converted to DHT. This is why women with PCOS or insulin resistance often experience hair thinning. Now, people also use finasteride for DHT blocking, but it can have side effects like hormonal imbalance, decreased libido, and mood changes. So the better approach for DHT blocking is using a serum with caffeine added along with minoxidil 5% to help with topical DHT blocking. But remember, caffeine should not be the principal ingredient in your serum because caffeine does two things: stimulation and DHT blocking. The stimulation part you can achieve with a simple scalp massage. So if you see a serum that's only caffeine based, skip it. You want caffeine as part of a complete formulation, not as the hero ingredient. And DHT blocking needs to be done internally too, not just topically. Use saw palmetto or pumpkin seed extract supplements for internal DHT blocking. And for that, you can try MyDuty's Thick and Grow supplement. It has saw palmetto along with other nutrients that block DHT and support hair growth from the inside. I'll add the link in the description. So don't use minoxidil or any serum without also addressing DHT blocking, both topically and internally. All three functions matter. And if you want to add something on top of minoxidil or the alternative serum I mentioned, you can also add peptide-based serums to your routine. Peptides are signaling molecules. They communicate with your follicles and tell them to stay in the active growth phase. So an ideal routine for hair serums may look like minoxidil 5% or a combination serum with Capixil, Redensil, Procapil, and Anagen in the morning, and a peptide-based serum at night. These, along with daily consumption of saw palmetto supplement for internal DHT blocking and nutrient support. And one final thing where most people go wrong: if you're using serums, oils, or any scalp products regularly, you need to detox your scalp. A lot of people are scared of shampoo. They think it's too harsh or stripping. But here's the truth: if you're applying products daily, buildup happens, and buildup clogs your follicles. You need a clarifying shampoo with strong surfactants at least once a week to remove that buildup completely. A clean scalp means better absorption, which means better results. Don't be scared of shampoo. Be strategic with it. So now, if you ask me, do hair serums really work? The answer is yes, they do, but only when you understand what functions you need and how to combine them properly. And one more thing, make sure your iron levels are optimized while using these serums. Iron carries oxygen in your blood. If your iron levels are low, even with great blood flow, your follicles aren't getting the oxygen they need. So before anything, get your blood work done. Check your ferritin levels, not just hemoglobin. If ferritin is below 70, your hair will struggle. We will talk about the nutrient deficiencies in detail later in the series. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who's confused about hair serums. Drop your questions about hair health in the comments below and I'll answer them in my next videos. I'll see you in episode 2. Take care.